Greetings, Elderly Vegan here, and welcome to my first episode of my 12-part series on how a whole food plant-based diet slows the progression for all of the 12 known hallmarks of aging. In this episode, I'll be covering some of the key points as to how a plant-based diet reduces the likelihood that one's DNA will mutate, and if one can prevent DNA mutations, it definitely has the potential to reduce one's risk of cancer. As with most all of the 12 hallmarks of aging, there's usually a technical term associated with each hallmark. And for those overachievers out there, the hallmark, which is the topic of this video, is referred to as genomic instability. But genomic instability is just a fancy term for the degradation of our DNA as we get older. As such, it warrants inclusion as one of the 12 hallmarks of aging. Basically, a plant-based diet offers protection for our DNA in several ways, and I will mention 4 of them. First, it reduces oxidative stress. And by this, I'm referring to free radicals, which have the potential to damage our DNA, and with regard to the outstanding phytonutrients which offer this protection by mopping up free radicals, I have some excellent examples under the broad classification of plant nutrients called polyphenols. One of these superstar polyphenols is curcumin, found in turmeric. Another is quercetin, found in onions, kale, berries, and apples. Yet another excellent polyphenol for the protection of our DNA is resveratrol, and it's found in red wine, grapes, and berries. However, getting enough resveratrol to be of any practical benefit with regard to DNA protection will require taking it in a concentrated supplemental form. At least that is what the research is showing. But my all-time favorite polyphenol is abbreviated as EGCG, and it's found in green tea and to a lesser extent in cocoa powder. And as you may know from watching some of my previous videos, I love to make fun of what EGCG actually stands for because it's anything but easy peasy. And since I'm having so much fun saying this word, I now have an opportunity to say it again. EGCG stands for epigallocatechin 3 gallate. Now that I have that out of the way, a second way a plant-based diet protects our DNA is by reducing glucose levels. When blood sugar levels are too high, it actually inhibits DNA repair by interfering with DNA repair genes. And high blood sugar itself actually increases free radicals, which can lead to even more free radical damage of our DNA. A third way a plant-based diet indirectly protects our DNA involves the benefits of a high-fiber diet, which result in a healthier gut microbiome. And this is key because a diet high in animal products results in a less optimal gut flora, which then produce toxins as a result. And these toxins are apparently capable of causing double-strand breaks in our DNA, and this can lead to cancer. And a fourth way a plant-based diet helps protect our DNA is by reducing inflammation. And a key phytonutrient in this regard is called sulforaphane, which is found in broccoli, kale, and other members of the cruciferous veggies. But obviously, sulforaphane is not alone in this regard, as there are other phytonutrients which help protect our DNA by reducing inflammation, and if one eats a wide variety of colorful fruits and veggies, they're well on their way. Finally, as a side note, one of the best lab tests for measuring this ongoing inflammation, which, by the way, is a leading cause for many forms of chronic disease, is a test referred to as high-sensitivity C-reactive protein. And with regard to this test, you want your results to be as low as possible because this is a protein produced by the liver, which is a biomarker for ongoing inflammation. Well, as it turns out, the elderly vegan, who by all accounts is a quintessential overachiever in his own right, gets a boatload of these superstar phytonutrients I just mentioned. And when my physician ordered the blood test for C-reactive protein, my results were so favorable that he told me they were the best he'd ever seen in his entire career. That I regard as noteworthy. Perhaps it was a result of all that epigallocatechin-3 gallate that I get in my green tea and cocoa powder. But then again, I suspect a fair percentage of those I'm being compared with are probably not health-conscious, plant-based, overachieving, biohacking, badass vegans. At any rate, I hope you found some worthwhile information in this video. To your good health, the elderly vegan.